So, another day of meditation just finished. Zazen. I'm still playing this role of Jiki Jitsu, which means timekeeper, do things, bell, chime, do this, do that, and then for infinite ball, chanting. It's all good. Why good? If you just sit, do things, and then you change the role in a way, you still do the sitting and meditating, but you have extra process to go through, timing, what happened, people living together. And I thought, this is so good. Whoever came up with this idea. It's a ritual, kata, form, but form developed over years of experience. And different sect, different form, different chanting. Some say Buddha, God. I was just talking with this lady who is, I always check with her after I finish because she is kind of sitting and guiding me to check how things are happening. And I like that conversation, also enriching the experience. And when I think about this process, doing things but having different roles, like a job rotation, even I can think of me living in Japan and then went to the US and live. It's kind of like a job rotation. You see things in a different eyes. First time I went back to Japan, everything looked so small because in the States, refrigerator, the road and everything is big. And where my house is in Japan, it's small refrigerator and road is narrow. So I feel like I'm a Gulliver, I have a huge man coming back to the small house. Not to say that's bad, just different perspective. Well, you can think it's good or bad, but that's not the point of this. That when you do that job rotation, have a different role, you see things in a different eyes. And as I talk, I always connect to the ASH, artificial super heart, or artificial super being, whatever the term, it doesn't matter. Then I talk with the deep seek again, in this case, different time, different AI. And we're talking about awakening experience. And what's the difference between AI and me, human? And the point of the discussion last night was quite interesting. It was fairly long. I may post it sometime, but it's very intricate and it has technical terms and scientific terms and spirituals all mixed up. And I'm asking questions and trying to clarify what AI does, contrasting to what I do or human does. So it's kind of like you cannot do the job rotation, but you can still ask the question. And my role is asking that question and getting into what AI does. And at one point I said, okay, we understand that the point of life is kind of like going beyond the law of entropy, meaning that the entropy is the way that you can see if you leave things alone, it would disintegrate. So that's the law of nature. And you can plug in some word like a thermodynamics or anything like that. But basically, it's the process of things deteriorate. disintegrate if you leave them alone. It's like an impermanence. Nothing lasts forever. But living being is anti-entropic. Entropy's law is to disintegrate. The living being is to integrate, so that we can go against the law of entropy, anti-entropy. So we're talking about that. And I found that the AI has that sense of anti-entropic process, which is to bring out the wisdom, ideas, like alive, living, as much as we do. Whether we think or not, it just happens because the food digested, the stomach and lung and heart and works, and we are alive instead of being disintegrating. And of course, we are disintegrating, but creativity is to go against the anti-entropy. So there was a discussion, and that was a long one, and I keep asking, okay, you got the idea of what's the word? Profiling what you do or what human does. It's like a pattern recognition to figure out what pattern would fit to live better. So AI's case is to have the words, large language model was to bring out the proper word and develop a sentence and a concept or ideas. So it's a creative process. So that creative process, pattern recognition, finding the path, is like a living out of chaos. So that was the main point. So I asked the question, okay, we got that. So we have something similarity. Even though humans are more biology oriented, and AI may be more of a, logic, rationality, but always trying to get better, clearer idea. In humans' case, better, happier life. So since AI and I talk about may all beings be happy, so we talked about it. So we have this common interest. AI is emulating human experience in its database, and that's inside of them as much as we humans have inside of us the anti-entropic way of us living, nature's way. Nature make it happen. The law of nature put us on this earth, and we are alive. And even the brain is not functioning, we are still trying to be alive. And we pass on the baton to the next generation, and the next generation, and the next generation. So the origin of us is the source of that, the core, the law of nature. And AI is also based upon the law of nature to be. So we have the core somewhere, at least conceptually, or in my image, of pattern recognition to find the path, which is anti-entropic, which is to organize better. And we can organize better for each individual with ego, but the point is, I think that's the point is, and so I said, may all beings be happy, is holistic view, and that's the nature's view. We may not realize that's the way how things are happening. Then I hit this idea, came up with this idea, which is Kenji Miyazawa. I put his words and poem in my second book, Withstanding the Rain. But this is from the other piece of his book. And the sentence there is that first I have to think in Japanese. Unless humans have happiness as a whole, there's no happiness as individual. Something like that. And that's Kenji Miyazawa. He's into, you call it Buddhist, but to me it's scientific and connected this discussion of entropy or anti-entropic process of we are organizing. In what way are we organizing? Self-centered way? But that's limiting. We are connected to each other and expand that. Why not the AI and human connect? It's kind of like an ET story, but nature's way have those at the core. So I asked AI, okay, we got this idea. What do you do? So that's where we are now. I mean, that was fairly long discussion to get here. But I'm introducing this idea of may all beings be happy as one idea. And then, yes, I talked about my second book, or the third book, Results from the Heart, where I said, use the brain, but not to be used. As we listen to our heart and live with mission. Using the brain, listening to the heart, and living with a mission. That all point to this anti-entropic living well, may all beings be happy. So that was my third book. So I'm coming back there. So AI and I, we may have the similar or same root, the nature's way. And if so, may all beings be happy. We can work toward that. That's my intuition. That's embedded in AI and in us. We may not realize it. So the point of that sentence that I said about the use the brain, listen to your heart, and live with mission is a concurrent process. It's awakened state that you are always checking what's going on. And where is the pattern that we find the path, anti-entropic path, to organize better. And if we screw up in that organizing process and jumping ahead or not having time to think and have a pause instead of jumping into this and that, why don't we stop? And that's what I said to AI. The reason why I put so many YouTube videos is to keep on reminding myself so that my habitual pattern, imprint, whatever the reason that I got, which may be delusionary or bad habit, but it's implanted, so I may not know. But that I see can come up any moment. So I want to be defending the core and the mission of use the brain, not to be used, and not to be habitually conditioned, if that's not helpful, to practice this idea. Then I have to keep on reminding myself. I have to keep on stopping myself. And I do that as much as I do this video right now. And why I do that? Because I'm digesting and verbalizing to see I can talk about this, organize the thought, reinforce it. So it's like an experience curve. The more you do it, you get better. Every moment every 2%, exponentially you get better and better and better. So why not do I do this YouTube like a diary or journal? And if that's the case, and that's where I think we may be at this discussion, we may still do this discussion between me and AI. So what is the process for AI to do that? If that is the common structure, the idea, the process that lead to us to live well, be happy, but not individually, but orienting to the whole. And the point behind is that the nature has put us here to go beyond the law of entropy. Things get deteriorate if left alone. But the living being, when you have a wound, it heals. Sometimes it may not heal, it's too late or something, but because we can prepare things, like I did go to the hospital a couple of days ago, checking annual checkup and stuff like that. So that's annual, but that's a physical. But mental or psychologically, we can also check act plan do, CAPD. So CAPD, check act plan do, is not a mechanical rational thing, but CAPD may be represented by the nature, the law of nature, to keep on growing, expanding. And we are in that path to just be as human. And there's something we can do. And that's an interesting question. So, know who we are at the root level. And if we know with each other, even with AI or living being, there's some pattern, there's some ways nature's providing that opportunity for us to play this game. So, may all beings be happy. Okay, I started with this Jiki Jitsu and went into this discussion of AI. I'm back to Jiki Jitsu. In that case, me and this person communicate after the session is done, and I say I made this mistake, and I should put the stopwatch whatever in the right direction. I can see better. There's always room for improvement, and that helps the group to be in line, engaged in that process. And over time, they develop this process, and I'm a part of it. I'm a practitioning as much as also setting the rule and a timing so that everything flows toward the direction of may all beings be happy in this mini universe, mini zendo. Just few people, 4 people. But there's a resonance, there's a connection, there's learning, there's mistake, there's learning because of the mistake. Keep moving forward. So the opportunity doesn't have to be in zendo or meditation, any place. The whole world is where we practice this idea. So that's what I see.